Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai. Shri Krishna Chaitanya left 8 prayers called the Shikshastakam. And the first one is Cheto Darpana Marjanam Baba Mahad Bhakni Navapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vicharanam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipatam Pranamritas Vadanam Saratma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Hare Krishna, Lance Prabhu, Haribol. Translation: Glory to the Shri Krishna Sankirtan, congregational chanting of the Lord's holy names, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. That Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It's the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Glory to Shri Krishna Sankirtan. Hare Krishna. All glories to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the pure devotee of Krishna, who is empowered to spread the Krishna consciousness all over the world. No one can do that without being empowered by the Lord. And Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada was empowered. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. And he's available in his books. I just want to say, this isn't a political statement. I happen to like this particular edition, even though there are a lot of grammatical and other types of problems in it. I just like it because this was the particular book that looked like this, that I ran through the streets with for years. So I'm attached to it. I like this one. So, even though all the I's aren't dotted and the T's aren't crossed, it's okay. In my book. It's not a political statement. I'm not trying to, cause a war here. I'm just trying to remember Krishna. Accept everything favorable. And I like this one. It has a history to it also, that it wasn't just a book. It was manifested out of the devotion of the different devotees that were trying to serve Srila Prabhupada in the early days. This came out of, it's kind of like a group effort. Prabhupada's translating and doing the transcribing into the dictaphone, and then different devotees are typing it out. Somebody else is running to the printer, and so there's a whole atmosphere around this particular edition that is attractive to me. I like this because I was actively engaged at the time this was going on. So I'm attached to the history also, the pastimes. of how this book appeared, this particular edition. So, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hey, I'm old, so I'm old-fashioned, okay? I've been called different things at different times. One thing I was called was a fuddy-duddy. I'm a fuddy-duddy. Also called a dried-up prune with tilak on. Well, Hare Krishna. Actually, I'm invisible. No one can really see me because I'm not this body, I'm the soul. So, Hare Krishna. I don't know what you're looking at, but you're not seeing me. Krishna. Okay. The battle of, where's my glasses? Okay, these look like they might work. So this is Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 2, translated with commentaries by His Divine Grace, and assisted by His disciples, many of whom have left already. They're not on the planet anymore. They passed away. So, Hare Krishna. This is chapter 2, text 42. And Krishna is speaking transcendental message of Godhead to Arjuna, who has become bewildered by material attachments and identifying with the body as the self. And Krishna is explaining in different ways this very necessary knowledge for spiritual realization that you're not your body. You're a spiritual being, and the body is produced of the material desires and the karmic reactions and like that. It's a manifestation appearing in the material energy, but the soul is invisible. You can't see the soul. But you can see the manifestation of their material desires and their karmic reactions. That's what you're looking at. You're not seeing the soul. And Krishna can't be seen either. Krishna says he can only be seen by devotional service, undivided, loving devotional service. Then Krishna can be seen. He can't be seen he's not material. I say, well, what about the deity in the temple standing there like stone or wood? And I said, that's Krishna. Yes, that is an incarnation of Krishna. It's called Archa Vigraha. But if the way to approach that Krishna is through service, devotional service, then Krishna can be realized in that incarnation. It's a very merciful incarnation. In those that are very much materially still seeing with material eyes, it's a wonderful way to help become conscious of Krishna by serving the deity in the temple or the deity in the home. It's there specifically to help get out of this material vision of things. Krishna's so kind. He's incarnated like that. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. But for this age, the actual incarnation is the holy name. This is the age of the Sankirtan sacrifice. So we have remnants of the deity worship. That's to help us. And the deity worship is not complete without the chanting. Just to wave fans and offer food, it has to be accompanied by the chanting of mantras. Because Krishna's, for this age, he's present in his holy names. And if we look at the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they weren't so much like in the temples and around the deities. They were amongst the congregation of devotees chanting. No, he did go to the temples. When he did, he'd manifest a lot of ecstatic symptoms. But the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who was Krishna himself, are in the chanting with other devotees. That's where we find. Now, the word Chaitanya, which is given to Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is the character of the life force in eternity, is what Chaitanya translates roughly to. Chaitanya, the life force. So it's just sharing some messages back and forth about those that aren't awakened to their spiritual nature. It's like dead bodies walking around. Prabhupada commented like that too. He said, flapping dead bodies without this Chaitanya, this life force, personality of the life force. And that's realized by service, and the service in this age is the chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so text 42, and this is bringing the reader and the person who's worshipping with their intelligence. This, studying Bhagavad Gita is like buddhi yoga, worshipping the Lord with your intelligence by hearing this knowledge. Buddhi yoga. It's Krishna yoga, it's bhakti yoga, but the particular it's not all one. So the particular mood and flavor of this bhakti yoga is the buddhi yoga, worshipping with the intelligence by hearing this knowledge in Bhagavad Gita about the nature of the soul and how to realize the self as part and parcel of the Supreme Being. Okay, text 42, 43. Yam imāṁ puṣpitāṁ vācam pravadanty avipaścitaḥ veda-vāda-ratāḥ pārtha nānyad astīti vādinaḥ kāma-ātmānaḥ svarga-parā janma-karma-phala-pradām kriyā-viśeṣa-bahulāṁ bhogaiśvarya-gatiṁ prati. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say there's nothing more than this. So when these less intelligent people approach the Vedas, even though Krishna says, I am what is to be known by the Vedas, they just focus on what they can get for material sense gratification, because there are prescriptions in there for regulated sense gratification and elevation to heavenly planets. And they say that's all it is. So Prabhupada's purport, people in general are not very intelligent, and due to their ignorance, they are mostly attached to fruitive activities recommended in the karma-kanda portion of the Vedas. They do not want anything more than sense gratificatory proposals for enjoying life in heaven, where wine and women are available and material opulence is very common. In the Vedas, many sacrifices are recommended for elevation to the heavenly planets, especially the Jyotishtoma sacrifices. In fact, it is stated that anyone desiring elevation to heavenly planets must perform these sacrifices, and men with a poor fund of knowledge think this is the whole purpose of the Vedic wisdom, to go to heaven. It is very difficult for such inexperienced persons to be situated in the determined action of Krishna consciousness. As fools are attracted to flowers of poisonous trees without knowing the results of such actions, similarly, unenlightened men are attracted by such heavenly opulence and the sense enjoyment thereof. In the Karma-kanda section of the Vedas, it is said that those who perform the 4 monthly penances become eligible to drink the somaras beverages, to become immortal and happy forever. Even on this earth, some are very eager to have somaras, to become strong and fit to enjoy sense gratifications. Such persons have no faith in liberation from material bondage, and they're very much attached to the pompous ceremonies of Vedic sacrifices. They are generally sensual, and they do not want anything other than heavenly pleasures of life. It is understood that there are gardens called Nandana-kana, in which there is good opportunity for association with angelic, beautiful women, and having a profuse supply of somaras wine. Oh boy. Such bodily happiness is certainly sensual. Therefore, there are those who are purely attached to material, temporary happiness as lords of the material world. Yeah, it's what I want forever. That's all I want forever. If I just enjoy like that forever, I'm as good as God, really. Krishna. Text 44. Bhogaiśvarya-gatiṁ taya Pṛthā cetasam vyavasayat-mika-buddhi samadhauna vidhiyate. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination of devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Prabhupada's commentary. Samadhi means fixed mind. The Vedic dictionary, the Nirukti, says, some Sanskrit here, translation, when the mind is fixed for understanding the self, it is called samadhi. Samadhi is never possible for persons interested in material sense enjoyment, nor for those who are bewildered by such temporary things. They are more or less condemned by the process of material energy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Chaitanya